I've never cheated in Dead by Daylight. I don't know if console peasants like me even have access to cheats. But subtle cheating has become so widely talked about now that we've developed a kind of collective paranoia around it, and it's a subject I think about quite often. I've never spoken to a cheater personally about the subject, but I do want to try and at least understand why someone would want to do it. At the time of recording this, the number 2 ranked Call of Duty player got outed as a cheater just a couple of days ago. His stream glitched in such a way that the audience saw he was using wall hacks. In this case, the reason for cheating is pretty obvious. There's a monetary incentive to cheat if you're streaming COD and advertising in your titles that you're a highly ranked player. More people are going to want to come and watch you, and therefore you're going to make more money. Now, I don't know if you can hide wall hacks while streaming DBD, but I do know that you can't have the effects of more than 4 perks or 2 add-ons active without the audience noticing. These are the kind of cheats that are causing widespread paranoia among players, but the people using them aren't streaming for monetary gain. There is probably little to no monetary incentive to cheat in DBD, at least not long term. I can pretty easily understand a gold rush mentality to stream gameplay in which you're cheating, secretly or otherwise. But I think there's another reason that someone would want to cheat their way to, say, like the number 2 spot in COD's ranked play. Another reason is clout, or to build a unique or positive reputation for themselves. Cheating for clout publicly obviously has its limitations. Imagine you've cheated your way to the number 1 spot in COD's ranked play, and suddenly there's an actual competitive team that wants to pick you up. You can't play in an environment where competitive integrity is taken seriously, so you have to decline. Dead by Daylight doesn't have a competitive scene that can rival that of COD's, and as an asymmetrical game, I don't imagine its competitive scene will ever be taken seriously on that scale. However, there are many people who take the game's basic online play seriously. Clout doesn't necessitate being known widely as a YouTube or Twitch player, just as an exceptional player within the game's general community. Maybe you're talked about by people online in forums or chat groups. Maybe you show up in a popular streamer's lobby by chance and they make a comment about you being tough to catch as Survivor, or they mythologize you as being impossible to escape as Killer without exceptional teammates. Being considered good at the game is almost definitely tied into the reasons that people subtle cheat in Dead by Daylight. I remember when I first got good at Killer on PS4 in Australia, I played against another good player who then invited me to a large group chat that included a lot of good players I recognized from the red ranks. It was bizarre to me at the time to realize that everyone knew everyone, and it felt kind of nice to be accepted into this cool rank 1 club I never knew existed. Being good at the game had merit, but I came to realize that how you played the game was important. Did you tunnel, slug, or camp? Do you run decisive strike, I'm talking old DS? Do you survive with friends with the same people? For better or for worse, you're going to develop a reputation amongst everyone that will precede you against these people in the cool club, as well as people you don't even know. You might come to be known as someone who plays unfairly, and it would affect your relationships with the people with and against whom you play daily. So, in this instance, there's an opportunity for a smaller scale clout that could hypothetically incentivize cheating, assuming you could cheat subtly enough that others wouldn't notice. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be known as someone who is good at the game. I used to daydream about being a player that just never made any mistakes or who never lost. If I could have cheated to at least help achieve that, would I have done so? I wonder if people might be motivated by the same thing now, just on a much larger scale. Back then, if you didn't have your finger on the pulse of what was considered fair behavior, you could and would be punished for it. If you were known as a camper when you played Killer, people would go out of their way to camp you when you play Survivor, or to BM you as much as possible, whenever possible. Now, with crossplay, it's rare to see the same people often enough for this sort of thing to really affect your experience, at least that's my experience. To garner clout in the community is probably difficult enough now that to cheat to get there would seldom be worthwhile. I think that the motivation for cheating is probably more about the player's relationship with the game itself rather than their relationship with the community, and I think that this stems mostly from the exact thing that sets DBD apart from a game like COD. It's asymmetrical and inherently unbalanced and unfair. Dead by Daylight is a game into which you can sink thousands of hours and feel a sense of accomplishment. You may not be doing well in the areas of your life you feel you should, but you're killing it in DBD, right? The blood point grind in this game is basically exponentially steep as more content comes out, so there's always something to unlock or work towards. And this is by design. It's addictive. It makes you feel good to unlock stuff and feel like your time invested in the game has been worthwhile because you've improved so much and have so many cool skins for the characters. And then gameplay-wise, the skill ceiling for each killer in combination with the unpredictability of each trial is so high that you'll never feel like you've perfected any of them and can always improve yourself. But when you find yourself addicted to an asymmetrical game that's impossible to balance, and therefore inherently unfair by design, you're bound to find yourself frustrated on a daily basis by your experience in game. Maybe your fellow survivors aren't doing what you think they should do, or you're playing against the fourth cracked out blight in a row, or you've died to bullshit every game so far today, or you can't catch anyone because they'll have fucking dead hard circle of healing and you're a basic M1 killer! There are many frustrating circumstances that will affect you in Dead by Daylight. To make matters worse, I think a lot of players don't know what to do with the resentment that this unfairness brings. Do I blame my idiot teammates for not being as good at the game as I want them to be? Or do I blame the game or developers for matching me with them? Do I blame every individual who opts to use Dead Hard or the devs for not balancing the game to my liking? I can understand how it might be tempting to cheat your way around this perceived unfairness. If Claudette's just going to crouch around the outside of the map, then it's only fair that I should be able to complete generators twice as fast to make up for that. Of course, to know that she's doing that, I need to be able to see what all my teammates are doing at all times. But if the killer comes for me, I need to be able to escape them if nobody else is doing the gens, so I need to be able to teleport away or run faster. As a disclaimer, I don't mean to assume that I know what everyone else thinks or why they do what they do. Even if I explore a thought process here that makes it sound like it might be a plausible reason that someone might cheat, I don't think it's necessarily helpful to assume everybody has the same reasons or that you could fully understand those reasons without them telling you their honest side of the story. That said, if I were to cheat in Dead by Daylight, it might be to gain clout amongst the community or to mitigate what I consider to be unfairness against me in-game. Generally, I think that videos about cheating in DBD are inadvertently harmful to the game because awareness of the subject has pretty much peaked. The devs are as aware as they'll ever be, and continuing to talk about it will likely just drive potential new players away from trying the game, or old players from coming back. This makes this video part of the problem, I think, but it's just such a fascinating subject. I can't imagine ever hearing an explanation for subtle cheating that would be justified. Not the one that I said earlier, especially. But that's because I believe it to be in opposition to the game's best interests. I care about the game, albeit from a distance now, which is not something everyone has to agree with or feel. But it does feel sad to see the game die from the inside out to something like this, and to think that some people might feel that they're doing something morally righteous or good by destroying it. I just think we deserve better than to have to deal with this in our online games as devs or players in any game. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you can let me know by pressing the like button or leaving a comment. And I might even do more of this stuff in the future if people seem to like it. So, yeah. Cheers.